Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about some of just about us and our I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
It's very simple. We're just going to talk about, some of our favorite UFC moments and stuff like that and how we got into UFC and everything.
There was a word I was trying to think of, but yeah.
Memories?
No, just a bunch of stuff with us and UFC together. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But
we're not doing predictions today is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, this is our third podcast we've recorded today, and I deleted the first two because they were so bad because we were just trying to talk about stuff, and it was bad. So we're just going to do this because I think this will be cool.
Yeah.
First things first, though, our co-host, Paul, will be gone for a while. He's in Ireland. So every episode, we're just going to give you a little update on Paul and his shenanigans.
Yeah.
So he went to Ireland. I don't know why. I think he just went there to talk to people about Conor McGregor, and that's all he's been doing. So turns out people in Ireland don't really fuck with Conor anymore.
At least the people he's talked to.
Except for one guy in a bus that tried to fight Paul because he said that Proper 12 was trash. But I guess they don't really sell. Some bars don't even sell Proper 12 because
that's the most Irish shit I've ever heard. Though.
Yeah, because they don't like Proper 12 or they don't like Conor. So yeah, he's out there talking about Conor. That's it. I think he'll be there for I don't know, a while. It'll be a while.
I think he's going to other places other than just Ireland, but yeah, he's going to be out there traveling around. So pretty cool for him.
But yeah, that's Paul just got there, so that's our only update. But it's already kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So first thing we'll talk about. We didn't write any answers down. We just made these questions just now, 30 seconds ago, and we're just gonna say what comes to mind. So first UFC memory of yours.
I don't really know what the first UFC memory was, honestly, because I know I've seen all the early ones and everything, but when I really first started getting into it, I was pretty young because my dad watched it. And for one, I'm just going to say, I think the reason we got into fighting and everything so much so early that we did was because we grew up wrestling and everything. Our dad was our wrestling coach and all that. Most people listening to this probably already know that. But that's how we got into it so early and I don't know why we like it so much, I think. But, so the early memories, I probably got really into it around when, Chuck Liddell was the man and Randy Couture. Randy Couture was always my favorite fighter, and Chuck, I loved him too, but Randy was the man. The early memories, really, another reason we probably got so into it was because of Chris Lytle, who we actually had on here, because he grew up with my mom and her brothers. So watching him on The Ultimate Fighter was a pretty big deal too. So yeah, first UFC memory probably Chuck Liddell. Bless you. That's great. They're gonna love that.
Yeah.
Probably just watching Chuck Liddell knocking everybody out. And one early memory that really sticks out to me, actually, that really made me go crazy, and I couldn't believe it, was when Rampage Jackson knocked out Chuck Liddell.
Yeah. That was going to be mine. I know I'd watched it before this because I remember, I just remember knowing the people and stuff. But, my most vivid first fight I can remember watching was Rampage and Chuck Liddell. We were at the trailer. Yeah, we were at the trailer, our old trailer. And we were watching. I remember I didn't really know who Rampage was because I didn't watch Pride when I was little. And everyone at the trailer, they all like UFC, but I don't think they're diehard fans or anything. And they were all talking about Chuck, and everyone's like, "Who you got?" And everyone said Chuck, and I remember I was like, "I think that guy's gonna win," and he won. I was like, "Oh shit!" And I liked it ever since. Then I know I watched The Ultimate Fighter before that, and I remember watching the one that Chris Lytle was on. I think it was Ultimate Fighter 4, the comeback. Yeah. I remember watching his semis match in my living room with my parents, and we did they're close with Chris, and they didn't even know if he was in the finals or not because they can't tell anyone anything.
Oh, yeah, because it's pre-recorded and everything.
So we watched that, and then I remember, for some reason, I remember Randy Couture and Gonzaga and GSP and Koscheck were on the same card. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rampage and Forrest, I remember watching that at the trailer. So there's a lot of just random old ones, even though I watched them all. I remember making my dad buy them when I was little and stuff, but those are a few that just always stick out to me. I just vividly remember watching those and enjoying those fights.
And just to be clear, we didn't live in that trailer. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but just to be clear, that was just where we were at.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that's funny. The Rampage one is your first vivid memory, because that is one of I think that might have been actually what got me really into it, because I always just thought Chuck Liddell was the man, and he was. But when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, what's going on here? And then I think that's really one of the first memories, because I really liked Rampage. After that, I got to know him really well, like not personally, but watching him, he was hilarious. All right, favorite UFC moment. This is a really hard one.
So I remember I was a huge GSP fan when he won the rematch against Matt Serra. I remember I was really excited. We watched it. We watched it at the Cotty's house.
That's your favorite UFC memory, is GSP beating Matt Serra?
I'm just naming the ones that I remember I was super excited about.
All right.
Because I remember that whole fight. I remember his walkout and everything. Like, I was really into that because I was a huge GSP fan. And I hated Matt Serra so much.
I love him now.
I love him now, but I hated him more than any fighter in the entire world because he shouldn't have won the Ultimate Fighter. Chris Lytle beat him, and they gave it to Matt Serra, and I hated him, and I was so pumped when GSP beat him. And then, I just had it in my head. Fuck. Recently, obviously, like, this is one of the most excited I've been, and this is going to sound like a casual fan thing, but when Khabib beat Conor, I was so happy because I love Khabib, and I hate Conor. So I remember watching that and just being, like, so pumped up, and then watching him jump over the fence, I was like, yes, let's go. So those two really stuck out. When Forrest beat Rampage, I was really excited because I loved Forrest. I liked Rampage too, but I was a huge Forrest Griffin fan, so when he beat Rampage, I remember I was super amped up. You go. Let me try to think of some better ones, because I'm sure I was happier than those, but those ones just stick out to me.
So yeah, if it's going to be some recent ones, definitely Khabib beating Conor, and DC beating Stipe. Mm-hmm. One, because those are my two favorite fighters. Well, two of my favorite fighters. I don't know. I can't really say they're my favorite fighters, but two of my favorite fighters. And I also won a lot of money on those fights.
And when Nate beat Conor, we were pretty hyped.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's up there too.
That might be the
because
one.
Literally we're the only people I think that thought he was going to win that fight.
The place we were at our cousin Vance's in the basement, and there was a lot of people with us, and nobody thought Diaz had a chance, and we picked Diaz. We're like, dude, he matches up perfect. He's gonna win. He won. We were going crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome. But early, I'm going to say when Forrest beat Shogun, I was really excited about that. That was a good one. I just remember always just being really excited anytime Randy Couture fought. I just really liked him a lot. One, because he was so old, like, compared to everybody else, and he was a wrestler, and he just seemed like a really cool guy. So that's just early on. But yeah, the Forrest one. Man, it's hard to just... Anderson Silva fighting... trying to think of who it was. Well, this isn't the Anderson Silva one, but like I remember seeing GSP and BJ Penn fight back then too. It was so cool because it was just like, these are the two best. Like, they were just beating everybody. Everybody just really thought they were the two best in the world. So getting to see them fight each other was awesome because it was like, okay, GSP's the man then. That settles it.
There's one that you're going to remember, and this is a weird one for us, because we were never Bisping fans. Like, when Henderson knocked out Bisping,
how did I not think
probably
of that?
Your number one.
I don't know how I didn't think of that. It's so hard to think of everything just off the top of your head. Yeah, I was like a huge Dan Henderson fan. I still am. And I hated Bisping. So when Henderson knocked out Bisping, that was definitely my favorite. But
I remember when we weren't even Bisping fans until recently, because like once he started doing the commentating stuff, and like I think everyone kind of came around to Bisping eventually. When he beat Rockhold, we were pretty fucking amped up. I remember that. Me and you were really excited just because Bisping's like been through everything. Like, it
was weird because even then I wasn't even like, oh, I hope Bisping really wins, but I was like, dude, I'm so happy for this guy right now. Yeah. I really was.
Yeah.
Sorry, you keep finishing what you're saying.
I remember like before. This is another weird UFC thing I remember. We used to play the UFC, the THQ ones, like on Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And I remember we always made Hendo and Bisping fight. Because I wanted Hendo to win, but for some reason I thought Bisping was going to win when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And we'd always fight. And then you just always hated Bisping. And I just remember doing that and then watching the fight and getting excited and how much you hated him. And then when he won the belt, we were like, oh, fuck yeah. High-fiving and going crazy.
Yeah.
I think we were watching it with like Armbruster, and he didn't know what was going on. And then after that, Brock Lesnar got announced to fight, so that was all like a cool memory.
Yeah, that is really funny because I do remember like I mean, I liked Bisping at that point, but like I wasn't like a. But when he won, like that really just like hit me kind of like I was like, wow, dude, that's awesome. Like I did not think he could do that, and I don't know, he just really deserved it. I think. Even though I really wanted Henderson to beat him after when they fought again after Bisping had the belt.
Oh yeah, me too. He should have won.
And dude, he honestly almost knocked him out in the exact same way. That would have been so cool if because that's all Henderson never had a UFC belt, and if he did that, he would have had a belt in every organization.
Yeah. So, least favorite UFC moment. This one I'm having a hard time thinking. I know both Chael and Anderson fights. I fucking was so mad.
That was a crazy memory too.
I remember the first time they fought, you wanted Anderson to win.
Yeah, I did.
And then you wanted Chael to win the next time.
Yeah.
I wanted Chael to win the first time, and I was so mad. I was like, this. I remember my dad was like, this is rigged. We're not ever watching these again. I was
that was funny.
Another good moment. Hold on, I gotta rub this in your face. I predicted Chris Weidman to beat Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I did.
I picked that shit, and everyone thought I was crazy. And we watched it at B-Dubs with Nick Bova and Kaz.
No.
Yes.
We watched it with Rojas. We watched it with Rojas and maybe Gage.
Rojas and Bova. That was it.
Oh, it was Rojas.
It was. We came home from Daytona.
Yeah,
and we drove there.
We came home from Daytona, and we literally, because we drove back from Daytona, and as soon as we got there, we had to get straight to beat up so we could see it in time. And he kept saying, he's like, I think this Weidman guy really can beat him. I was like, oh, whatever. Like, everybody says that of whoever he's fighting. And we got there, and Weidman knocked him out. And then the whole place went crazy. People
were fighting
each
at
other.
B-Dubs.
Like, somebody got kicked out of the B-Dubs. I mean, we're on the south side of Indy, so,
Dirty South Side,
not
like
that crazy. But it was awesome.
Every Sunday for a Colts game that happens.
Let me think what else.
Least favorite moments.
Wait,
though.
I still gotta talk about the oh sorry, I just shook the whole everything. I still gotta talk about that Chelsea and Silva. I remember watching that, and because I just thought Silva was gonna win, and the whole time we were watching with Andy Bova, the whole time I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is a joke. Like, Silva's got to just be playing around. Like, he's gonna win. Like, he's gonna somehow win it. And it kept going on, and I was like, oh my god, dude, he's gonna lose. Holy shit, he's getting killed every round. And then it happened at the very end. I was like, what the hell? How did he pull that out? Like, at the very end. And I was actually pretty hype about Silva doing it. But then after that, hearing everything that Chael said, and like seeing him fight against Silva that time, and like how he dominated the whole fight and blew it, that's what made me want to root for Chael the second time, because he was just so funny. And
every Chael fight's like one of my favorite memories, honestly.
I
don't know why.
I
loved watching
when
Chael.
he fought John Jones or Rashad Evans.
No, the ones he won.
Those might be my least
like
favorite
his boring
moments.
fights. I loved like when he beat Shogun. I was super hyped.
Yeah, that was cool.
But like when he beat Bisping and like Brian Stan, they weren't even exciting fights. And I remember I was so amped up watching him. He was like one of my favorites.
God, when he fought Rashad Evans and John Jones, that might be some of my least favorite
I
memories.
knew those were gonna happen. I didn't care.
I didn't know it was gonna happen quite like that.
I figured. All right, least favorite moments.
Oh, hang on. I have some other favorite moments.
That's fun.
John Jones and Rashad Evans, that whole lead up, I thought that was hilarious at the time. Looking back on it, it's really so stupid.
Fight sucked though.
I really like that they're like buddies now. They're
Yeah.
like really cool with each other. I like that. I always like when people talk a lot of shit to each other before, and then they like fight, and it's a great fight, and they just have like respect for each other. That fight wasn't very good. Like their respect came way later, but I always like when people like get over it after. It's like if you have a real good fight and like you could go through all that, I think you should. I don't know.
Depends who it is for me.
It also does depend on what was said before, like the McGregor Khabib thing. No, you can't say that stuff. But I mean, if it's just kind of playful, whatever,
Yeah.
but you're actually getting pissed off, I don't know. I guess it really does depend on a lot of things. But so least favorite moments. Anything really with Koscheck. Not anything with Koscheck. I like Koscheck, but like when he fought
Daly?
Yeah, Daly, and he kept pretending to get hit before. So really, actually, that whole sequence, like during the fight, he's like pretending to get kneed on the ground or something like that, and then they show the replay, and he clearly was faking it. I mean, you might as well just get disqualified. And then also, I hated when Daly punched him after the fight was over. I mean, that's not cool. Really just stuff like that. Just like cheating and faking stuff. That's the stuff that really makes me mad. I'm sure I could think of like some decisions that were really bad that were some of my least favorite moments. Like when you can tell that somebody clearly want to fight.
Yeah. Fucking Paul Felder and Edson Barboza losing me $1,200.
I still haven't seen that fight, losing the money really.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's my number one. That was like last week.
Crap, I'm not supposed to show this. No free ads.
Mine are when my favorite fighters get knocked out. When DC lost to John Jones and Stipe, I was super mad both times.
Yeah, whenever DC loses to John Jones, it's a really bad day for me.
Stipe one was just as bad because he was whooping his ass.
That one really.
But I like Stipe, so it shouldn't have been a big deal, but it was, and I'm still mad about it.
Yeah.
When Khabib loses, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna be super sad.
He might not.
I don't know. I don't really have like really vivid bad memories of UFC.
I guess just when they're boring. I remember there was one Anderson Silva fight that everybody was really mad about.
Damian Maia and Talis.
Which one was it? Damian Maia that he was like hiding behind the ref and stuff. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
I didn't even watch that live.
I watched it at Mason's house. I'm sure.
When Frankie Edgar kept getting fucked over in decisions, I always got so mad. When he lost to Benson Henderson, I was shitty because I don't like Benson Henderson. I don't know why, but I don't. And that always made me mad.
I'm sure I could think of some if I really sat down and thought about it, but
yeah,
pressure's really on here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of any. I know I get mad about the UFC all the time.
All the time, I hate it.
Yeah, and now I can't think of any bad mememories.
A lot of things with Conor make me mad.
Yeah, but he never beat anybody I liked besides Diaz.
I will say the one thing when he jumped in the cage and slapped that ref.
Yeah.
All that really made me mad. That pissed me off.
The Dolly thing made me mad.
That too. I hate giving him so much talk.
I do too, but he's so significant. Like he has so
and
many.
He makes me so mad.
He has so many significant memories that like he just comes up.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, my least favorite memory is watching Tito Ortiz knock out Chuck Liddell last year.
Oh my god,
that was horrible. Watching BJ Penn fight every time.
And some of my favorite memories. I've thought about saying this before we started. Some of my favorite memories are watching Chuck Liddell knock out Tito Ortiz. So I guess that goes both ways. Yeah, least favorite moments, Chuck Liddell coming back and knocked out by Tito, and
BJ losing on the street.
Penn fighting anytime now.
I remember when they originally had him fight Yair Rodriguez, and I was like, what the fuck? And he'd never been dropped before going into this fight. He got fucking front kicked and punched at the same time. He's just like, yeah. Who didn't see that coming? 5 fights later, he's still in there. And now he got knocked out in the street, which is even worse.
All right, let's move on from.
Yeah, now I'm mad.
I'm gonna start getting sad. I'm glad.
Favorite
I'm not
fighter growing up. GSP is my favorite fighter growing up.
Oh, I kind of already said that. Randy Couture.
Yeah, we kind of already talked about
Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell.
What were some like random guys that you just loved, like just random ass fighters?
Random guys that I loved back then.
Yeah. I liked Rashad Evans a lot.
I liked him a lot. I was trying to think more random because I don't think that's really.
I liked all the light heavyweights. Like I love Rampage, Forrest, Shogun, Chuck.
Forrest was one of my favorite fighters too.
Like all the Shogun was one of my. I think I liked Shogun a lot because he was really good on the old UFC games, and I always used him.
Mark Hunt was always. I don't know if you consider him like super old. I mean, he is old, but
Diaz brothers always loved growing up.
Yeah, actually, I used to really not like them very much.
I always loved them. I liked all the controversial people.
Let me think. All those light heavyweights. But I was trying to think more random because I don't consider them random. Like everybody loved Rashad and Rampage.
I liked Marcus Davis. Irish hand grenade.
Irish hand grenade. Yeah,
he was fucking awesome.
I'm trying to think more random. Who was somebody that I was like, oh, this guy.
I liked Evan Dunham a lot.
Yeah,
I liked
cool.
Sean Shirk.
I didn't really like him.
I did.
I didn't like him because he was on steroids, and I knew it.
Now I hate when people are on steroids. I didn't care back then. He was the muscle shark.
Yeah, so it was expected.
I
loved cool. Kenny Florian. I really liked Kenny Florian.
Dude, Kenny Florian was awesome.
I always thought that I was like, there was a long time. They went for a long time, not anymore, but I was like, he's the best guy to never win a belt.
He's up there still.
For the longest time, I was like, Kenny Florian is the best fighter to never win a UFC belt.
He was.
At one point he was. For a long time, not anymore. There's so many good guys, you can't say that now, but he really was, I think. Because he was always just right there.
Damn it, I just had like 3 in my head and I forgot them all.
Kenny Florian was one of my favorite guys.
Rich Franklin, I loved. Love Rich
I like
Franklin.
Rich Franklin. Yeah.
He's not very random either, but I just loved Rich Franklin. Fuck, I just forgot him. I had so many in my head, and I forgot them all just now.
Yeah, it's hard to think of this stuff off the top of your head because there's just been so many years and so many fights and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Now I want to look at a list of just old fights and be like, dude, remember this guy? He was the shit.
We should do that, and then we can come back and do something like this another time.
Yeah, we can do a part 2 because now I kind of want to look at old cards. I'm like, oh man, I remember loving watching that guy fight. I want to go back and watch
some of them. Hang on, I have some old DVDs here.
Yeah, go grab those and just like look at the back and see who was on them.
Yeah, let me see. Because I think the one I have is awesome.
I'm pretty sure you have a Rich Franklin Dan Henderson one. Why are you looking at the disc? Don't you have some where you can just look at the back?
I'm looking for it.
Oh.
You keep talking.
All right. We'll just move on to the next thing.
Oh yeah, it's right here.
Oh, you got it. Show that to the camera. Like I don't know why
I found this at in a dollar bin.
Oh, Lytle's on the front of that against Marcus Davis.
Yeah, hey, look at that. Chris Lytle kicking Marcus Davis.
I know where we found. We used to buy those at FYE at the mall.
That's not where I found.
They used to have those.
So this is Mark Coleman and Shogun.
Horrible fight. Horrible.
It sounds really good. Hey,
so
and this is in Dublin.
Really?
Yeah, this is in Ireland.
Oh shit, that's
UFC
a weird
93.
Card. Look at the back. See who it should say who's on the card.
So it's Rich Franklin, Dan Henderson, Mark Coleman, and Shogun. Alan Belcher.
Alan Belcher was cool. I have his autograph.
Dennis
Alan
King.
Belcher.
Jeremy Horn. I liked him.
Paul Harris. I hated.
Fuck Paul Harris.
Horrible person.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Martin Campman. Martin Campman was the shit.
Yeah, I remember. I felt like he fought all the time.
He was in a #1 contend. No, fucking was this?
Dennis Seaver's on here.
I don't know why I just thought of this, but remember, this is how much GSP cleared out the welterweight division back in the day. There was a #1 contender fight between Mike Swick and Dan Hardy.
Yeah.
Dan Hardy won and fought for the belt. How crazy is that?
Shit beat out of him.
Yeah. I remember they were promoting that. That was the first ever. They showed it in movie theaters. And I remember going to the movies, not for the fight, but just going to the movies and seeing cutouts of GSP and Dan Hardy. And I was like, crazy. Why is this the fight? And it probably worked because everyone loved GSP. But
yeah, Martin Campman. I don't recognize some of these other names. Eric Schaefer, Antonio Mendez sounds familiar.
John Hathaway, he was good. He was a England dude, up and comer, and he beat Diego Sanchez, and then he was bad after. Oh,
I'm gonna go back and watch this.
Do you remember Paul Tiago?
Yeah.
When he knocked out Koscheck.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and then Eric Silva. It's just like making me remember all these old guys. I love it. I love it. All right.
I just thought of my least favorite moment.
Say it.
It's when
Speak it up.
Our favorite guy, Corn Nuts, and virtually identical.
Oh, Goldberg.
When he got fired.
Yeah, and they didn't even
from the UFC.
They didn't even care. Like they didn't even do a. That might have been the Bisping card too, because I was so amped, and then they did that.
I'm almost gonna cry.
And I was like, they didn't even do like a presentation for him. That was horrible.
Him leaving the UFC was actually, that made me so mad. I swear, that made me so upset.
Yeah, that was right. I think it was because it was right when WME IMG bought them. Right before UFC 200.
How dare you?
When Rockhold fought Bisping. So that happened. I was amped up, and then they didn't do anything for him. I was so mad.
Yeah, that was really disappointing. And the way they did it and everything, that was horrible. Is he still doing Bellator?
I think so, but who watches Bellator now, honestly? You never know when Bellator fights are even on. Like, they don't promote anything.
Because they're always on, and then you're just like, oh, there's a Bellator card.
I always watch them at tournaments because they're always on Fridays, and we get in there Friday late at night, and I sit down and turn it on.
Yeah. Also, they promote him a lot in Ireland. Like, they're on all the... So maybe they...
Because of Gallagher.
Maybe they try to promote more, like, outside of the U.S. I don't know, but...
All right. So I have least favorite fighter growing up. I feel like we talked about that kind of,
though. Least favorite... people aren't going to like this. So, obviously, I hated Tito, like everybody. And then at one point, I really didn't hate Tito anymore. I liked him.
I don't hate him now. It's just he's just kind of an inconvenience to me.
Yeah.
Like
it's just the Chuck Liddell thing. That's the only reason I didn't like him in the first place, I think, was because of Chuck Liddell and all that. But, dude, I actually really didn't like Matt Hughes.
I did. I met him. He's cool.
I didn't like him for, just like, I don't know, there's a point where I just really didn't like him. don't know.
Mine was Matt Serra, but I like Matt Serra a lot now.
Yeah, I like
he's
Matt
awesome.
Serra a lot now. I used to not like him either, but it was literally just because of Chris.
Same with
So as you
Bisping.
can see, most of these are because of Bisping. A lot of these guys we like now. So I didn't really like Koscheck too much at one point. I didn't like the Diaz brothers.
I like them.
I like them a lot now.
You know who I loved? I loved Vanderlei Silva growing up. I liked all the Pride guys when they came over. It was exciting.
Yeah, we made it really cool.
But I didn't cheer for most of the Pride guys when they fought the big UFC guys because I always was like, I want UFC to be better than Pride, even though they weren't. But there were a few that I
did
liked.
make it a lot of fun when Pride came over. That was a big moment. That was a really good moment. Who else did I not
Tan
like?
Anderson came over and
Sherry.
just went 0-2. Like, lost to Anderson
Yeah,
and
man,
lost to
that-
Rampage. I was like, fuck.
I didn't care at the time, but looking back at it now, I watched both of those fights not too long ago, and I was like, damn it, man.
I remember watching those too. That was when I started really getting into it. Like, we would buy every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's like, I didn't miss from like, I don't know, we probably spent a lot of money on pay-per-views back then. We got everything.
I feel like I've damn near seen every UFC fight, because even the ones
Now,
that I didn't
yeah.
see, I've gone back and watched.
Yeah. There isn't really a significant fight I haven't seen.
And I still didn't pick one fight right last weekend.
Hey, you're an idiot.
You didn't either. You got one. You picked one.
Yeah, baby. I won the most cards. All right. So last thing, what was it like at a UFC event? We went to one ever. We plan on going to a lot more now.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
we're just older now. We couldn't afford to go, and they didn't
Yeah.
have them around here much. Now we can. We went to Chicago in July or June, one of those.
I think it was. I don't know.
And
it was awesome.
It was Cejudo versus Marlon Moraes, and the card was stacked. Valentina and Jessica Ai. So it's different than any sporting event. Like, we live in Indianapolis, so we've been to NFL games, we've been to NBA games. We have the Colts here and the Pacers.
Yeah.
I've been to other states for football games. Like, they're cool, but this was something completely different. It's like when you go to an NFL game or an NBA game, most people around are cheering for the same person. They're like from the same area. They're like very similar people, right? And they're super biased the whole time. When you go to a UFC event, the people around you are from everywhere. Like, I knew that going in, but it was almost like I met more people from out of the country than I met from Chicago.
Yeah, we had the people behind us were from Ireland, and then I think they lived in Canada, but they were from Ireland. The people a few rows in front of us were from Kazakhstan. They were so excited. They had the Kazakhstan flag. They were going crazy for Valentina.
Yeah.
I was really happy for them. They were so happy.
Yeah, everyone around was just cheering for Valentina because these guys were in front of us going crazy and like couldn't even speak English.
After that
just going
knockout,
crazy.
after I realized that the girl didn't die, I went up there and I was like hugging those dudes. Everybody was just having a good time.
Yeah. And like when we left, we met some guys that I don't know where they're from, but they weren't from America, and they let us use this flag and took a picture with us and stuff, and they gave us this hat. Like, everyone was just super cool. They were like, they gave us this hat. These guys, like, everyone was just excited to be there and be in the environment, and like, it was so
Talking
cool.
to each other, like you would think there'd be a lot of like drunk people like getting into it and everything. I mean, some people think that, but really it was just a great time. Everybody got along and just
And, like,
talking about fighting. It was just really good energy in the whole place.
And you'll like also when you go to an NFL game, there's not other NFL players there. Like, they're in the stadium, they're there. You don't really see them outside. First thing we saw when we pulled into Chicago is Michael Bisping running down the road.
Yeah, he was just jogging around. We saw.
And when we're leaving the arena, we see Clay Guida going just running around the place after he just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. It was like stuff like that. We see the Neuroforce 1 people getting super excited when Henry Cejudo won.
Yeah, we got to talk to them a little bit. I was like, dude, I've been a Henry Cejudo fan like since like he was wrestling. So I got to talk to them. Like, thanks, man, that means so much. Like, and I was, we're doing some drinking there. Yeah. So it was a good time. I'm really excited to go back to another one.
The whole experience was just amazing. Like I said, with the bias thing with football and NBA, you're around their fans. Like, everybody around you is cheering for different people. Everyone has different opinions.
I was making bets with the people
Yeah,
around us.
it's awesome. Like, nobody wants Cejudo to win around us, and we did because wrestling in America and all that shit.
Yeah.
I remember when Crazy when Cejudo won, and nobody thought he was going to win around us. I didn't think he was going to win, but yeah, it's insane. If you've never been, you need to go.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. It was the best sporting event I've ever been to.
I watched a lot of I tried to watch the actual fight in the octagon, but it's kind of hard at points.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to end up watching the screen a lot. And I know some people will be like, why don't you just watch it at TV? It's the environment and just that atmosphere. When you see Valentina head kick Jessica Eye and the whole crowd's like, oh! Louder than any football game I've ever been to. And it's not even probably a tenth of the amount of people in there. It's insane.
But yeah, it was awesome. I'm really excited to go to another one. Hopefully we can soon.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, just got to know us a little bit better. Most people watching it already know us pretty well, but that's just how we came into MMA. Some of our experiences with it. If you've never been to an event, you gotta go. Like,
yeah,
I will go every year in Chicago.
So
100%.
And if you are watching this, go ahead and leave it in the comments your answers to these questions. Best memory, how you got into it, favorite fighter, least favorite moment, just all that stuff. Put it in the comments, talk about it, whatever.
So sorry if you were expecting us to do predictions and stuff, but you probably weren't because we'll
still post our predictions on Twitter and Facebook and all that anyway, but
they'll still be up. We just need some better cards for me to want to keep doing that.
And this was fun. I think we'll do this again because we really didn't think about any of this until we did it. Until we were on here right now. We
literally recorded 2 podcasts before this that were just horrible, so I was like, let's just do this.
I couldn't post it.
No. All right. So shout out to Big Heads Media.
Yep.
They do still support us.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at Rivalry MMA, Facebook. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, literally anything, YouTube.
Bullhorn or something. There's all kinds of... We get new listeners on new things that I didn't even know we were on all the time.
Shout out to if you're listening to Ireland, because I know Paul told people to listen to this. And
if you're from Ireland, you went to UFC 93, let us know.
Yeah.
Your boy Marcus Davis fought our boy Chris Lytle. Even not Marcus Davis, I think I don't know where Marcus Davis is from.
I think he's from here.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.